Elizabeth Mahalik, age 22, has been faced with the challenge of living with medical problems since a young age, diagnosed with autism, bipolar depression, anxiety, and most recently, psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. And this is her story.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I like to think I'm a happy-go-lucky person, and I like to think I am outgoing enough to help others. So those little diagnoses are just side characteristics. They're not who I am. So they're just there, over on the opposite side of me, over there.
Okay. So you had said that you had books that influenced you, right?
Yes.
What were the names of those books, and could you describe what those books were about?
Yes. The first book is His Bright Light by Danielle Steele. And that book was about Danielle Steele and her son, Nick. Nick had manic depression, and ever since he was younger, he actually was an artist. He was a singer. He had this huge life ahead of him. And he also fought with his internal the demon that he fought with that just couldn't seem to go away. But no one, everywhere they turned, trying to get him help, trying to get him counseling, turned him away because he was too young, there's nothing wrong with him. You're just a bad mother, you're just a bad parent. That's the word she kept getting. So when he turned 18, by then, if you're under 18, you can get help. Well, he tried getting the help. He tried getting the things he needed, and it didn't work. He ended up ending his life because by then he couldn't face the demons anymore inside of him. So by then in the story of the book, she goes on to explain how she didn't want to see another mother and child go through that torture. So she fought the system and won, technically, and it got the whole medical field to rearrange their pattern of how they diagnose. So if she never did that, I would have never gotten the help I would have needed at such a young age, and I would never be where I am now today. The other book is House Rules by Judy Picoult. It's about a teenager with autism, and how he is very focused on criminal justice and forensics. He has a brother who's a younger brother, and then his mother is a single mother. So she's very focused on the one child, but she's trying to give equal attention to both. The one scene that stuck out with me was the opening scene when he's opening up to a criminal justice type scene and like Law and Order in the opening scene. And then the other one is when the teenager with autism is mentioning a numeric, some type of equation, and he says, why can't people be like numbers, which are so much easier to read? Well, that stuck out to me because, yes, numbers are easier to read because they have a split answer. You just 2 plus 2 equals 4, 3 plus 3 equals 6. So that has a definitive black and white answer. But you talk to a person, they have so many different colors. They could be pink, they could be red, they could pick a color, any color, take a color. So, and then they have so many other things thrown in there. They have their emotions, they have things going on through the day. So it's interesting how that works.
Okay. And then, can you describe to me what it was like before you had read these books?
Before I read the books, life was hard. When I was younger, leading up into teenagehood, I guess, I was pretty much depressed a lot. I was fighting with suicidal thoughts. It wasn't easy. I didn't have many friends, and not many people understood where I was coming from, what my life was like. It was difficult. I read His Bright Light by Danielle Steele in middle school, probably 8th grade, and that helped me understand that, well, there's people out there who understand me. There's people out there understand what I'm going through and are actually fighting in this battle to get where I'm going through and to get others help. And then I read House Rules in high school at some point, and I read that one, both of them, consistently throughout the rest of my life. So they both had an impact on me because I would consistently grab the book and say, hey, read this section to my friends in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, huh, and then walk away. So I don't know if it made an impact on my friends. I know the friends I have now, it definitely makes an impact on them when I have them, hey, read this section. And it definitely makes an impact on them. So, like, it's interesting. I'll grab, like, stories now and do the same thing.
Okay. And how has this, the book inspired you? Like, how did the book shape, like, your life after the book?
It shaped my life by being able to understand. Then I was able to understand what I was going through, and now I look back at the book and say, oh, I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. So, and there's times where I can go back and show somebody else, hey, this is what I'm going through right now. If you just read this section, you understand why I'm acting the way I'm acting. So it's easier to help for me to describe it to somebody. Or like if I can read a section of the book and it would be motivating and uplifting.
So hope.
Yes, it's hopeful. It's helpful. It just gives me a light when I'm in a dark place. It can be resourceful when I need it to help me explain something to someone and stuff like that.
Okay. And then I heard something about a letter.
Yes. When I was in middle school, my mom and I wrote a letter to Danielle Steele.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't expect to hear back. We really just expected her to read it and just toss it aside or something. Well, to our surprise, she wrote us a handwritten letter back.
Okay.
And she signed it, so we still have it. But what she wrote on it was heartfelt because she was explaining. We wrote it to her in honor of the book she had written, His Bright Light. And we wrote about things that I was going through, the help I was trying to get, and the battles we were facing, and everything like that. It was a pretty lengthy letter. And Danielle Steele wrote back a short, brief letter, but a very heartfelt one. And then near the end of it, she said, don't give up hope, don't give up faith, but also look for the light at the end of the tunnel and keep your candle burning. So it was kind of heartfelt because someone out there who you've never really met took the time out of their day to write you back a letter and actually send it to you. So it was like, huh, that's really cool. That's awesome.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.